Today we are talking about another book that I had won from a giveaway. Today we are talking about the Fight or Flight. I'm not familiar with Fern Michaels. I know that she writes like a ton of books. She's one of those authors that just have a ton of books under their belt. I don't know how she writes so many. This is my first one that I have ever read. Just a quick synopsis of this book. The story actually kicks off really interesting with her significant other. He loses his life during the Boston Marathon incident that happened a few years ago, and she is severely traumatized by that, moves to North Carolina to write her book. Her parents also passed away and left her basically $1 million. She catfishes a bunch of teenagers online. She has like this book club that she had created where they talk about her books. She made a alternate account, so it's not really her. And she talks to all these girls about, what they liked and didn't like about the book. And I personally thought it was really weird, especially at the whole catfishing thing where she's interacting as a teenage girl to all these teenagers, even though Catherine herself is like 37, something like that. And then someone breaks into their home, and that's kind of the premise of the story. Unfortunately, I didn't really like this book. I think that takes a really long time to get going. It spends like 90% of like for example, like the first couple chapters, very interesting with the whole Boston stuff. She has severe PTSD because of it. All that stuff was very interesting, right? And then you got like this much of the story that is just basically her catfishing these girls. I mean, she's not trying to find anything, so I don't want to say necessarily catfish, but she's not who she says he is, and she's just talking to a bunch of teenagers online, and that she's afraid to go outside because she has the agoraphobia or something like that. Well, she dates her therapist. That happens like towards the end. And then the worst part of this book is that they catch the guy and they figure out who he is, and it happens off screen, if that makes sense, where like, oh yeah, we figured out who it is, and then it does like it does the epilogue 6 months later, and it's just like, oh yeah, so we caught the guy, and now I'm getting married, and I'm like, wait, what? I don't know. It just not a very good book in my opinion. I'm gonna give it 2 out of 5 stars. I would not recommend it. It had a good start, has a good premise, good ideas, but I just felt like it took the meat of the story was just not that interesting. And then by the time it gets to something interesting again, it happens off screen. So that is going to be my thoughts on Fern Michaels' Fight or Flight. I did get a early review copy, and yeah, that's going to be it for the video, guys. I'll catch you on the next one.